and Dylan Cease will be going for the Pods. The run line is set at 8.5. And Rafael Devers has been traded to the San Francisco Giants for a couple of pitching prospects. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The streak gets snapped in the desert for the Padres.
Fly ball center field. Lockridge will have room, and the Padres win.
Now it's up to the Ravine for 4 versus the Dodgers. Drama at the U.S. Open.
At Oakmont.
J.J. Spawn, ball up and over the ridge. It's on a very good line. This could go in. J.J. Spawn makes it.
And how did Sammy do out in Sin City with his $1,000 worth of shirts for the club?
The Rocket go in the back, take off his electrifying $800 shirt.
A full recap in the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going. Happy Monday, everybody. It's San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We will be with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And we got a lot to get to today on a Monday. First and foremost, Billy Currington, who we've gotten Dierks Bentley last week, Billy Currington this week. That's about as good as it gets in the country music world. He's going to be performing Saturday, July 19th at Gallagher Square at Petco Park. You can have a pair of tickets today if you just keep listening throughout the show. It is Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer. Make it a summer of live music with $30 concert tickets to 1,000 plus shows on sale now at livenation.com/ticket to summer. Billy Currington, we gave away Dierks Bentley last week. That's pretty good. Sammy was in Vegas all weekend celebrating his birthday. Sammy, I have not asked you this question off the air because I wanted to save it for the air. The number was set at 3.5 by our text line for the amount of phone numbers you would get while in Las Vegas. I need 100% honesty out of you right now. Was it over? Was it under?
Unfortunately, we hit an under.
Oh.
It wasn't our best weekend in that regard.
If the over under was at a half, is it over or is it under?
Well, we weren't trying to get numbers. We were trying because I don't live in Las Vegas. We were trying to. There's certain people listening.
Okay.
We almost had some success. One girl found out I was on the radio, was very excited.
There you go.
And so I was like, oh, we might have a shot here. And then her friends were like, photo op. And then they ran away. So it was a little,
Stuff happens.
Would
you still say it was a successful weekend?
It was a successful weekend.
Did you come back and more money in your pockets than you left with?
Yes, we got our ass handed to us on Friday night. Gambling. It was not good. Lost 100 at the sports book, 200 playing craps. Then we were kind of at bars at the pool all day. And then at 4 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday, I guess Sunday morning, we got on a teeter at the craps table, won 500. So that was big. There was 4 of us. We were just all gambling together. Have never met these people in my life, but got on a run there.
That's what we like. The craps table, magical stuff can happen there. Now, Sammy, if you will, you cashed or you put in a wager for me on what was the Saturday morning, right as the kind of not the leaders, but the back end of the U.S. Open was getting started to tee off. And Brooks Koepka was at +2 at the time. And I figured he had a shot. And so I asked for you to throw some money down on Brooks Koepka to win straight up. Who did you throw money on to win straight up?
I put money on Scotty, and I thought we were gonna be great.
Scotty made a push on Sunday.
The girl at the sportsbook goes, so Fletch was very kind, staked me $100 because we were not doing very well on Friday. And then he's like, let's place a bet for Koepka. I go up to the girl at the sportsbook. I'm like, hey, I'll take 50 on Koepka. She goes, it just started. You can't bet. And I said, you're not doing live bets for this? Like, you're Caesars. You are the sportsbook. You're not live betting the U.S. Open. And they're like, no. So then I go back. I go to the other girl. She's like, oh, yeah, you can do that. The girl was trying to save us money, but we didn't listen.
So right now on camera, we can just rip up both of those because JJ Spawn in heroic fashion on Sunday, which was cool, man. You could take that $50. I don't care. I wouldn't have my U.S. Open any other way. JJ Spawn kind of tears up the field on the back nine where everyone else was falling apart. Everyone else was shattering tee markers in tee boxes or slamming the ground in frustration, while JJ Spawn quietly, confidently just sort of marched his way through the back nine to drain up. Was it 64 feet?
Yeah.
The final putt?
That was an unbelievable way to end the Open.
What an insane day out at Oakmont. We will discuss it as the show moves on. Of course, we'll get to the Padres, who Saturday night was about as rock bottom as you could possibly be if you're a San Diego Padres fan, if you enjoy watching this team, or if you are in that clubhouse, because Saturday you go into the ninth with a 7-3 lead and Robert Suarez blows it. Oh, and by the way, Jackson Merrill's going to be headed to the IL for 7 days with concussion protocol. They do bounce back yesterday to get the win as they're leaving the desert. That was a nice win yesterday. It was good to see Fernando's bat start working. And now they head to Chavez Ravine, where, as Sammy told you in the update, Shohei Ohtani is going to be on the mound for the Dodgers. All right, with all that, with the table being set, with the Billy Currington tickets within sniffing distance, Sammy, it's time to officially start the show. For the first one of the week, we go with the big three, which are the top stories in the sports world every single day, brought to you by Sammy Long. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you'd like to watch the show today, you can on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X at Fletch and Sammy, and also interact with us on the text line. We love it when you do. 70470. Start your message with the word team. Just text to the number 70470.
909 doesn't believe that I won money.
Start it with the word team. Did you win money?
I did. I won 500 at 4 a.m. I didn't know I needed to.
You spent 500 on shirts, so.
Well, that means we got it back. Okay, you can't, being a gambler, you can't go back and go, oh, I spent money on this. We won 500 playing craps at 4 a.m. That is a success.
I like it. All right, where are we starting?
Okay. Well, massive stories yesterday in the MLB. Rafael Devers to the Giants. D-backs getting hot, as we saw this weekend against the Pods, and the Dodgers are top of the division. Shohei Ohtani coming back tonight. Where are the Padres at now in the division?
Fourth. What? I didn't say fourth. No, look, this is a rough spot for the Pods. Diamondbacks are a solid team. They've somehow gotten better when a bunch of their pitchers got hurt. Padres obviously have a bunch of pitching injuries as well. I do think right now it goes Dodgers, Giants, Padres, Diamondbacks, and they're all kind of lumped together with the additions that the Giants just made. Here's what makes me nervous. What are the Padres going to do themselves at the trade deadline? Is there a starting pitcher or multiple relief pitchers coming in? Is there a left fielder coming in? Here's what yesterday should tell you if you're a Padres fan. The Giants are going for it now. They made a move on June 15th. Trade deadline still weeks away. I doubt it's their last move. Posey and the front office with the Giants seem very committed to making sure that this year's team is as competitive as they want it to be. Giants probably aren't done yet. There could still be additions coming through the door. Diamondbacks obviously need some help. They got pitching depth issues just like the Padres do. There's probably going to be someone coming into Arizona. You know what the Dodgers do every single year. They figure out what they need, who they want. They go out and get it because that's what the Dodgers do. Does Preller have any moves in him before this trade deadline? Because obviously something needs to be done. I will be able to better answer that question, Sammy, of where the Padres are right now once the trade deadline gets here. And once we see what moves the Padres make. It would be almost unfair to them to make an assumption right now.
Yeah, it was pretty bad weekend for the Pods in terms of bad weekend on the field outside of Sunday. The Friday, they didn't even show up. Saturday was I mean, I don't know how you lose that game.
That's as bad as a loss they've had this season.
Was, and with Suarez in, you're thinking, oh, this game's over. And the fact that they came back on the Machado hit, I mean, that was bad. And then Devers to the
Giants. Do you feel like putting your closer out there in a non-save situation is almost jinxing it already?
Kind of. There's a thought to that.
Right?
There is. Yeah. Well, there's also something that, like, they're in that mindset to close the game, and then you kind of throw them off their thing. Baseball's such a routine schedule.
It's like, who's the field goal kicker for the Chiefs right now?
Bucker.
So if Harrison Bucker is walking out there and Jim Nance is on CBS call, be like, oh, he hasn't missed one all year.
Oh, he's gonna miss one.
It's gonna be a shank.
Of course.
With Mike Schultz putting Suarez out there with a 4-run lead in the 9th inning, you're like, what the hell are we doing here, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. And then Devers. So the Giants, to what you just said, are legit. The Giants are an extremely sound team. You just knew before the Devers trade there was really no shot without an elite hitter that they were going to go on a run. But in terms of now, you add Devers, who's an all-star caliber hitter, who's 28 years old. This is a contract for the long time. He's got 10 years remaining, 8 to 10 years, something like that remaining. So he's going to be there for a long time. You got Flores, you got Chapman, Adames. You'd think at some point would start to hit better. He hit a home run against the Dodgers the other night, and then the Dodgers are getting healthy. You see Ohtani about to pitch. Sasaki, they got bad news on, but Snell and Glass.
What's up with Sasaki? I didn't see that.
His shoulder's still messed up, so they shut him down again. So I don't even know if he's going to come back for them. But it sounds like Trinan's coming back at the All-Star break, and Glasnow and Snell, both through bullpen sessions, are going to be coming back soon. So, and the Diamondbacks everyone thought were left for dead. They were 9.5 games back at one point. Burns gets hurt. You're like, this team's done. And then they don't look like they're going anywhere. So the Padres better do something. We're going to get into this a lot more during the rest of the show. this is a really important week because he went 2-4 last week. That was a terrible week, especially when there were multiple games you felt like you could have won in that 6-game stretch. Now you got the Dodgers, who are only going to get healthier after this, and Jackson Merrill's out with a concussion for 7 days. So not a great weekend for the Padres, especially going forward. They have an opportunity to change that tonight, but we will see.
We all feel so good about this team right now. You can tell.
It's so good. So some massive Kevin Durant news, actually. So It came out over the weekend. The Heat, Spurs, and Rockets are the 3 teams Kevin Durant would be willing to sign an extension for.
So that means who got knocked off? The Knicks and the Timberwolves?
So just right now, Timberwolves, who are very interested in him, he said he doesn't want to go to the Timberwolves. The Knicks, apparently, he would have been interested in, but the Knicks dropped out. But Phoenix is not saying they're not just going to do nice by him. There was a report this morning that they're not necessarily just going to trade him to a spot that will sign an extension for him. So out of those 3 teams, I guess, Heat, Rockets, and Spurs, where do you think he should want to go?
I'm going to stay on the Spurs. I've been pretty consistent about that since the Bill Simmons report came out. I just think that's the funnest option for the NBA next year. I think that brings the most intrigue and the most fun into the next season, seeing him on the court with Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. I would like to see him go to the Spurs, and I think that's where he should want to go.
I'm going to go with the wild card, the worst team of all of them here. I'm going to go with the Heat because I'm not super high on the Rockets. I don't think that team is. I think they're in a weird spot because they're a very talented team, but then to go get a star, you're going to have to give away some of that talent, and I don't see Kevin Durant and Şengün or Kevin Durant and Jalen Green. Jalen Green would probably be gone in that. I don't think even though Amen Thompson's really good, I don't think that that's some team that's going to go super far in the West. The Spurs, I hear you, that'd be a lethal team with Wemby and Fox. But Miami, the East is wide open. The East, I mean, really, there is, with Boston, with Tatum hurt for most of next year, I don't know that I believe in the Cavs. The Pacers are going to be a solid team, but they're going to have some losses there as well. And I don't know that that's a really dynasty-worthy team. The Knicks just fired their head coach. The one thought, if you go to Miami with Bam, and you have Harrow there. I assume Harrow would stay. Maybe he part of the deal. Wiggins is there. There's a lot of trade collateral. It's a pretty solid team. That's probably the easiest shot for him to get to a finals. Not the most talented team. That would be San Antonio. But and then Orlando got better because Bane got traded over the weekend. But I think that would be the easiest path for him to get there. Quickly before we head out, JJ Spawn sinks an incredible punt to win the U.S. Open. Was it good for golf that we had a leaderboard on Sunday that wasn't just all the big name stars?
You know what? I worried about that heading into Sunday. I really did, because you saw Sam Burns at the top. Like, Adam Scott was the really only super recognizable name. And even that, you might have to be a golf fan to know Adam Scott and the history that he's had in this game. He's been around for 20 plus years. He's 40 something. He has won a major at one point, and he's looking to build his resume with a second for the Hall of Fame. He talked about that this weekend. But Sunday was effing awesome at the U.S. Open, and there was a lot of names that maybe not everybody recognized. It was the Tyrell Hatton storyline. It was Sam Burns, who completely fell apart after trying to get a ball ruled unplayable so that he could have a free drop. It didn't happen, and he completely tanks it after starting the day with a couple strokes in the lead. It was a weird day of golf. It was separated by an hour and a half delay while the leaders were about to make the turn. I loved every second of it, man. The drama, the intrigue, I thought it really upped it. And the fact that you did have JJ Spawn, who played terrible on the front nine and got some terrible breaks. JJ Spawn, if you were watching on the 4th or 5th hole, hits a shot damn near in the hole that hits off the flagstick and rolls 50 yards back the fairway. Like, JJ Spawn had everything set up against him. And for him to go on that charge after an hour and a half break, for him to just get back out there, face the adversity, and take it head on, I thought it was an awesome day of golf yesterday. Your mic's not on.
That's hard to talk when your mic's on. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool seeing, we were talking about this before the show, every other sport outside of basketball has to deal with weather. I mean, that's a real thing that comes into it, especially in the NFL. You look at, it's hard when, it's freezing cold and you can't throw as far as you want to, and it changes the game. Even though I know some people are going to go, well, it kind of takes away some of it. I thought it was actually grittier. The fact that you had to win when it was completely pouring rain, the greens were not there. And I like that golf is made by stars. And it's fun watching great ones do great things like Scotty, and then when Rory came back and won the Masters. But it's fun seeing, I mean, at the 15th hole, I believe it was a 4-way tie for first. Yeah. Like, that builds a lot of drama.
And everyone at +1.
Everyone at +1. that's a fun thing, even though maybe the casual person doesn't know who some of these guys are. Guess what? You're creating a star. People know who JJ Spawn is now, and next time the tournament rolls around, next major, they're going to be looking for JJ Spawn. So I thought it was pretty fun and a hell of a way to end it with that crazy putt.
Yeah, JJ Spawn, especially here in San Diego, he's a San Diego State alum. Now, between him and Xander, 3 of the last 6 majors in the world of golf have gone to San Diego State alumni, which is badass. It's a golf school. I don't know if you've heard. But JJ Spawn, the storyline behind him coming off the 18th green, seeing his family on Father's Day, his 2 young daughters there to support him. Cool moments abound yesterday at Oakmont. I got a couple more thoughts on the U.S. Open. We'll hit them a little bit later in the show. But coming up next, back to the Padres we go. Shohei Ohtani tonight against the Padres. The Dodgers, obviously, maybe Shohei himself moving up the time frame a little bit to get him out on the mound. Let's talk about what that means for the Padres. Coming up next, it's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. The iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, John Fogerty, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, The Offspring, Tim McGraw, and more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. Sammy, I know you were out in Vegas over the weekend. You might not have seen it, but the UFC fight's on Saturday night. Did you see the dude flop, faking getting knocked out to try to cause a disqualification?
I didn't see that. I actually missed the main event because we were Ubering back to the Strip, but I watched a couple of them on the undercard.
So I do not remember this guy's name. I apologize about that, but it popped back in my head seeing Vegas on the liner there. And he is kind of standing over the guy. Dude had him in full guard, if you know anything Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but he's standing over him, kind of trying to throw elbows and stuff. And the guy makes an illegal kick to the face from his back. You're not allowed to kick up at the face. And so he immediately goes back and starts to look at the ref like, dude, that was illegal. And then falls to his back and pretends to be knocked out for a second and then kind of jolts back trying to get a disqualification.
I got to go check that out. I didn't see that. No.
A lot of people in the world of MMA are saying, and there was actually some pretty big fighters who said this dude needs to be banned, never to fight in the UFC
that's insane
again.
Because you could, I mean, you think you win, you let your guard down. There's been a lot of talk about that in boxing too. People have always thought if it's a draw, why don't they let him fight another round? But when you think that you won, all that energy, testosterone, whatever it is, leaves your body immediately. Someone could get seriously hurt. Yeah, that can't happen.
It is BS, and it's soft, is what I think. You get kicked in the face, you don't get knocked out. Just be a man about it. The ref will make the call. That's what I'm saying. All right, Padres, obviously a weird weekend for the Pods because Friday night, Sammy, you said this earlier, and it was the perfect way to say it. They just didn't show up Friday night. Saturday night, you have a 7-3 lead heading into the 9th inning. Easy money, right? Wrong. Suarez gives it up, and the Diamondbacks win game 2. And then game 3, I'll tell you, a lot of worries got put to bed because Fernando Tatis came out, had a couple doubles, scored 3 times, was kind of classic Fernando on the base pass, stole third base again, and he's done that a ton this season. Scores on a ground ball for Manny Machado that maybe 5 people in Major League Baseball score on, and Fernando's one of those 5. So you see that part of it, and the Padres win, and you think good things. And that is right. It's like you're adding an all-star back to this team in Fernando Tatis Jr., which is good to see. But the worrisome part is what we talked about last, which is the fact that the Giants just got better. The Diamondbacks are getting better. The Dodgers are going to get healthier. And what are the Padres going to be doing? Well, in Kevin Acey's latest article, he talks about the market this year and how it's so out of whack because everybody thinks they're contenders. There's not enough teams at the very bottom of Major League Baseball to have a clear defining line between buyers and sellers, and the Padres just simply don't have a ton of capital. So what are they going to do once the trade deadline gets closer? Well, the hope is that some teams are falling off and the Padres are able to be in this place where they are a clear contender and there's more teams that are clear sellers at the trade deadline and they're able to get something because they desperately need help both in left field and in their pitching rotation.
I mean, this is the problem. Over the last week, they score 7 runs, 11 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 7 runs in 2. Or sorry, in 8. And they go 2-4. So the bats to their credit, the last week have been getting better. It was exciting to see Fernando go 4 for 5 yesterday, playing with a lot of confidence. And his history at Dodger Stadium, he really plays well up there. So hopefully kind of carries that into this week.
He's a plaque at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, for the longest home run hit ever there.
Bizarre. If Freddie Freeman had a plaque at Petco Park, I would hate that.
But it was. There's just no consistency right now because I've heard some people be like, oh, it's encouraging the bats are waking up. Yes, but we're past the point with the Padres of, oh, hey, they got some talent. I mean, this team started 14-3, best record in baseball. And ever since then, the pitching staff has not been the same, especially the bullpen. The bullpen has been completely taxed. And I got to give Coach Quintera a ton of credit. Appears every week on our show Thursday at 1:30. He was kind of the first on that, talking about how this bullpen is extremely taxed. And the Dodgers is too, actually. They're actually number 1, except the Dodgers in a weird way is some of their bullpen has been hurt. So if they
just have more options in their bullpen,
they have more options. And some of the guys who are going to come back are actually going to be, if they're pitching in the playoffs, probably actually pretty healthy because of the fact that they haven't been taxed as much. They got problems right now. And I don't know that we can, even over the last week, the bats have been good. The problem is we know that the top 4 of the Padres can compete with just about anyone in the MLB. We know that. That's why there's high expectations for this team because the top 4 is lethal. What's happening 5 through 9? And I just the consistency is not there. They better show up this week against the Dodgers, because if you lose this series against the Dodgers, and let's say you win one game and the Dodgers win 3, and the Giants just got Devers. The Giants have been amazing in every aspect of the game except hitting. And the fact that they were leading, they were only a game back of the division when the trade happened. They lost to the Dodgers last night. And now you get Devers. So now they have a legit all-star there. Flores is a good hitter. Chapman's a good hitter. You think Adames would get better, but now you add a certified, like, bona fide superstar in the middle of that lineup. That they're not going away. So AJ Preller better get on those phones and figure something out.
On something you brought up earlier today, Sammy, if Rafael Devers from the Red Sox is moving to the Giants, does that mean the Red Sox might be done trading pieces? And the Padres have interest in Jarren Duran, who is the Red Sox left fielder. Are the Red Sox as apt to trade somebody after they already made the big deal?
And they're getting crushed in Boston.
Yeah,
today.
because it's a BS deal.
I mean, and the crazy thing from a Red Sox perspective, they had won 7 of 8.
Right.
Devers hit a home run yesterday in the middle of the day before he got traded for the Red Sox. Now they're a little bit unique situation because they have the top 3 prospects in baseball with Anthony and a couple other guys.
Devers has been kind of a pain in the ass for them, hasn't he? He's not wanting to play different positions.
Yeah, and then he just said literally 20 minutes
with
ago
the Giants,
he'll play anywhere because he's not going to play a third because Chapman's a Gold Glover over there. You're thinking he probably goes to first. Probably that's what you think he would go. But I mean, this is a massive series. This is not to understate. The Padres have to at least tie. They have to go 2-2 here. Who knows? There's going to be a ton of eyeballs on this game with Ohtani pitching. Ohtani hasn't pitched since 2023.
What's he going? 2 innings?
1 to 2 innings. So
man, David Vassay on the show literally a week ago said trade deadline or all-star break for Ohtani.
I was reading up last night because I was curious what it was.
What in the world?
Apparently, they thought that.
Vassay lied to us. That's what it was.
And then he threw 44 pitches down here in San Diego last week, I believe on Tuesday during the middle of the day, and it went pretty well. So, listen.
God, watch Shohei go 6 tonight.
Now, to be credited for, watch it, he will. Cease was great against the Dodgers last week. That was the one success. He was phenomenal. So it was nice seeing Pivetta get back on track yesterday.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Because Pivetta and Cease, to stabilize his team, have to be good going forward and have to be money.
All right, quick break. When we come back, NBA Finals heading to a Game 5 tonight. This series has been a lot of fun, actually. Tied up 2-2. We'll talk about it and get you ready for Game 5 coming up later tonight. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Rapid Radio's Padres Dodgers 4-game set starting tonight up there at the Ravine up in LA. Dodgers favored by -155 on the money line. Game gets going at 7:10. Dylan Cease going for the Padres, who was fantastic last Tuesday in the Padres 11-1 win over the Dodgers. And Shohei Ohtani will be making his season debut, pitching debut for the Dodgers, expected to go 1 to 2 innings. In the NBA Finals, Game 5 tonight from Oklahoma City. That game will be going at 5:30. Oklahoma City is a 9.5-point favorite to win this game with the point total set at 224.5. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
San Diego Sports 760 on a Monday. The text line is up and rolling. 70470. Start your message with team if you want to jump in on the show. 760 at 12:03 today just sent crying laughing face emojis. I'm guessing that's around the time we talked about Sammy's over-under from last Friday. Does that sound right to you, Sammy?
I think so, yeah. Was he laughing at my my strikeouts this weekend?
I think so. I think that's what's going on. 909 says there's only two types of gamblers, losers and liars. Don't believe Sammy.
That's crazy.
That's also not true. I've come back from Vegas with a lot more money in my pockets.
That's a very pessimistic. What are you talking about?
In fact, I'm going to Vegas coming up in August. We just booked rooms and booked a show that we're going to see.
They were advertising the Wizard of Oz there.
I'm going to see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. Those tickets were not cheap. My God. But sometimes
it better be a fantastic show because of all the money at the tables you could be having.
When the missus says, I want to go to this, and you say, okay, dear, and then you look at tickets and just feel like, oh my God, I have to pay this.
Are you sure there's not a local play we could check out?
No, so we're doing that. We're going to see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, but we'll also be in Vegas for a couple days. I'll let you know, and I will not lie if I lose. 858, bunch of my friends are from Phoenix because I went to Northern Arizona University, so I was getting absolutely blown up from everybody on Saturday. Better see some redemption this series so I can brush it off. Padres, do it for the 858. Come on, sweep the Dodgers. 3 out of 1 would be nice, honestly. 619. I saw a recent interview of Adam Silver discussing the potential expansion of the NBA in future years. I realize that San Diego has a history of serious dysfunction in building stadiums and losing teams. That makes the redheaded stepchild look normal, but I'm surprised that some civic leader or business person or sports radio media would not come forward and at least start the discussion. San Diego's current ability to fill Petco and fan loyalty should be a sign of good potential for success, and the NBA stadiums are much smaller to fill. Curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks from our buddy Brian. Look, I have always said more pro sports in San Diego, the better. If you want to bring an NBA team here, I will be the biggest cheerleader of that NBA team. And I think it's a great idea. I think it would work in this market, man. We see what Viejas Arena does on Tuesday nights throughout the Mountain West regular season. Like, it's not like you're getting LeBron James coming through your front door. No, you're getting guys in the Mountain West, and that place is packed every single week. I think an NBA team would be an absolute success here. I think it should happen. And I would love to know some billionaire friends to make that happen. I just don't have those friends.
619, Brian, thank you for listening to the show, man. Great text. It would be fantastic. It would be awesome. Unfortunately, the NBA is probably the least league that's probably going to come to San Diego simply because the Lakers are one of the biggest brands one of the biggest sporting brands there is, and they have a stronghold in San Diego. And unfortunately, the Clippers were the only shot.
And they just built a new arena.
It makes no sense to me why the Clippers are in LA because no one in LA likes them.
Makes no sense why the Chargers or the Rams are in LA.
100%.
Makes no sense why LA has 2 soccer teams.
The Clippers. No.
Makes no sense why LA has 2 hockey teams. Should we keep going?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes no sense why LA has 2 baseball teams.
Well, that's the problem is the Angels and the Ducks. Well, not that San Diego needs a baseball team, but the Ducks keep San Diego from getting a hockey team, even though the Goals actually have a pretty good turnout, especially for a minor league team, because you have the Kings up in LA and then the Anaheim Ducks. The Clippers being in LA, building the new stadium, and then Vegas and Seattle. Vegas is getting a team. They've already said that. And then Seattle, probably because Oklahoma City got ripped out from them or from Seattle. It would be great. San Diego, I know, would support it. I mean, look how San Diego supports the Padres. Look how San Diego supported the Chargers. And SDFC has been selling out all the time. And to your point, I mean, Viejas Arena is always packed, whether it be a Tuesday night and they're playing a bunch of nobodies from Fresno State. So San Diego certainly supports its teams. I don't think a NBA team would happen. I certainly think an NFL team would happen before an NBA team, but I do think that San Diego would support it well.
Yeah, I think Ballmer screwed up.
No, he did. I mean, what doesn't make sense about Ballmer?
It's a badass arena, and I think it's actually doing okay in terms of attendance, but the ticket prices are not near what Staples or Crypto is.
Yeah. Well, that's what doesn't make sense from Ballmer's perspective is he wrote an article. There was a big article in the LA Times wrote about how it's weird being a team that no one cares. I mean, everyone's a Laker fan in LA. People are go ask 100 people on the street, are you a Laker or Clipper fan? 95 are going to tell you they're a Laker fan. 5 are going to say they're a Clipper fan. And then you go build a monstrosity, not a monstrosity. It's a cool arena, but San Diego would have loved it, and San Diego would have fully been supportive of it. And I think you could have captured some of the Orange County base as well.
It's the age-old question of would you rather be number 2 in one of the biggest media markets in the world, which LA is, or would you rather be number 1 and have all the love of the city? And I
and the Chargers are 3. They're not even 2.
Chargers might be 9. If you're including other sports.
Oh well, yeah, they're not even close. But the Raiders are 1, and then the Rams are 2, and then the Chargers we see what they're doing, trying to have practices down here. Trying to get some of that fan base back, but
thin veil, man. All right, the NBA Finals. Look, we can talk about the games, which I actually think they've been pretty good. You think about Game 1, that furious comeback from the Pacers. Game 2 was OKC doing OKC things, kind of getting the lead early and rolling it out. Game number 3 was Indiana's bench really stepping up to kind of carry the load, and then Game 4 was a little more of OKC just sort of rolling. Game 5 is coming up tonight. I've actually enjoyed this series so far, which was a bit of a surprise for me. I like the fact that it's 2 teams that we don't often see a ton about. I like how OKC built this roster. I think it's hilarious that both of these teams have basically been built on foundations of Paul George trades. But the general public, which we knew this was going to be the case, has not been watching this series whatsoever. Viewership down 20% from last season, on pace for the poorest TV turnout since the pandemic bubble finals in 2020. And this isn't a surprise. Like, we knew this was going to happen. It feels very low buzz. I don't get why the NBA has such long breaks between games in their finals. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. This postseason began in April. We're halfway through June and it's still going on. I think there's a lot of changes that need to be made to the NBA postseason, but these games have been pretty fun. So if you're curious about watching tonight, games at OKC, they're favored by 9.5. I love Indiana plus 9.5 tonight. I really do. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I think they'll make it interesting. Sammy, I guess your thoughts on the series and tonight's game.
Yeah, Game 4 was insane because it felt like Indiana up 4 with, I believe it was like 4 minutes to go. Felt like if they could have won that one, go up 3-1, this thing would be over. I do think the odds makers are being a little disrespectful. I mean,
Shea went off in the final like 5 minutes of that game, right?
Yeah, and they closed and Sammy lost money at the sportsbook, but that's neither here nor there. Oklahoma City to win the championship is minus 525. So in Indiana's plus 385. They should be favored. It's a 2-3 series now, and 2 of the games to be in Oklahoma City. But this feels odd to me that they're that much of a favorite. Every game outside of Game 2 has been tight. It's not like in the 2 loss in Game 4, Oklahoma City won and they blew them out by 30. It feels like Indiana has some answers. 9.5 feels like an insane number to me. I don't know that Indiana's going to win tonight, but I feel like it's going to be a close game. Indiana certainly, as we've seen in this series, has the capability to kind of get up and down and run with them and cause them some problems, especially on the defensive end. I hope it's a good game. I hope it goes 7. That would be fun, especially for a low-rated series. As you said, I mean, we knew it was going to be low-rated, having Oklahoma City, Indiana, and having Oklahoma City as a massive favorite coming into the series. I'm curious what a Game 7 ratings would do, because I think just a casual fan, whether you like baseball or you like hockey or you like basketball, watching a Game 7 is fun. I don't care who you are. It's fun watching kind of history be made. But I hope this goes 7, and I think it will. Actually, I don't think the Thunder are going to win this in the next 2 games.
I don't either. I think it does go 7, but I think unfortunately, like, the NBA might get a bump in Game 7. I do think they would. It not as big as you might hope that it would be, because this series, you've lost the thread. And I think it's as much as it is that the teams are from 2 small markets in OKC and Indiana, as it is that they spread this thing out so much.
That's been a
you
problem.
Lose the thread, dude. I lose the thread.
Yeah.
I had to double check that the game was tonight.
Yeah, that's been an issue. That needs to be fixed. There needs to be flow to this. Like, if you want to add another day in between the travel days where you're flipping from, Game 2 to 3, there is no reason this shouldn't be every other day.
You don't have this many days off during the regular season ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Tyrese Halliburton game winner was what, a week and a half ago?
Yeah.
Like,
that season began in April 19th.
It's Game 5. So we're going to see at least a game 6 because it's 2-2. That's a problem. The NBA needs to fix that.
There's no postseason that should ever be 2 months long. You're asking people to hang on for 2. And remember how much fun the first couple rounds of this postseason were? They were great. But that Timberwolves Lakers series feels like it was a lifetime ago because it was.
Yeah. Luka's dropped 80 pounds since then.
Literally. Luka looks great. He has a jawline for the first time in like 5 years. It is funny. There's people now going around LA to different like fast food joints and just finding people that are like white guys who are just middle-aged and they're taking pictures of me and like, man, Luka is really falling off the wagon in LA. The league's in trouble.
Hey, his girl, his fiance or his wife keeps posting that eating all those greens.
He looks good.
Did you see real quick before we got it? Did you see what Desmond Bane went for at a trade on Sunday? He went for 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, Cole Anthony, and KCP.
Desmond Bane, who like could not get the job done in the postseason. I remember talking about him with you, Sammy, being like, if Desmond Bane can actually do this and perform in games 2, 3, and 4 like he did in 1, like holy smokes, this could be a problem. Desmond Bane did not.
Well, that's where you look at like for the Lakers is what is Austin Reeves' trade value? Because even though he had a bad postseason and bad 5 games, whatever against Timberwolves, like if Desmond Bane's getting that. And now Giannis is off the trade market per a lot of what they're saying. Kevin Durant is going to be the next to go. We talked about it earlier about how he wants to go to either Miami, Houston, or San Antonio. And he doesn't want to go to Minnesota or New York. I mean, I don't know what Austin Reeves would go for if Desmond Bane. I would put Austin Reeves on par with Desmond Bane. I don't think that's some crazy take. I think that Bane's probably a better defender, but Reeves probably a better scorer than Bane.
So he's going to the Magic for KCP, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. That's wild.
In the NBA, remember Mikal Bridges to the Knicks?
It's like he's LeBron James, dude.
Yeah, he has 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is an above-average starter in this league. Desmond Bane's a good player. I'm not trashing him, but if you're Memphis, you get 2 legit players back plus 4. Orlando could be a problem next year in the Eastern Conference, considering there's not a lot of competition at the top of it.
Quick text to squeeze in here before we get to long shots from the 619, responding to the previous text about the NBA. It would be great to get an NBA team here in San Diego, but why would anybody do that? We have done the impossible here in this town. We lost an NFL team and 2 NBA teams, so we are now relegated to other sports. Our city leaders are losers. NBA team here will never happen.
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of people feel, man. I really do.
No,
619.
It's hard because of the geography. Unfortunately.
Oh, you mean like the nicest place in the country?
No, not that.
Yeah,
everyone wants to come to
San Diego.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that LA's up the road, and then Anaheim. I'm telling you, Anaheim having a hockey team, San Diego would be on the list to get a hockey team. Like that would happen, and I think people would support any professional sports team that came to town. The NBA is certainly tough with the Lakers and Clippers up the road, but NFL maybe one day, man. It's just so sad because the city supported it well, and the damn Dean Spanos.
Jacksonville will take you.
Yeah. You don't even. Can you imagine Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence kicking it in San Diego?
I will. I promise you this, Jacksonville. I will never, ever, ever again compare Trevor Lawrence to Daniel Jones, even though they have the exact same stats.
You're going to be public enemy number 1.
They have the exact same stats. It's actually kind of crazy that Daniel Jones is vilified and Trevor Lawrence is still the golden child. It's wild. It is beyond my imagination how that is still a thing.
There's a thing called the eye test.
Take a quick break. When we come back, long shots, time for some redemption after a weekend where, oh no, you did win money this weekend. Sammy's going to keep it rolling. Coming up next, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. June 16th, always a tough day here in San Diego. It was the day in 2014 that we lost the absolute legend of Tony Gwynn, the Hall of Famer, one of the best baseball players of all time, easily the toughest strikeout in Major League Baseball history. And I feel like it's worth bringing it up. We all know the stats, but it's worth saying once again so we can understand the dominance that he was throughout his career against Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, and Tom Glavine, all Hall of Famers. Tony Gwynn hit against Maddux, 429. Against Schmaltz, 444. Against Glavine, 312. Greg Maddux faced Tony Gwynn 107 times. Any guesses on how many times Tony Gwynn struck out against Greg Maddux?
How many?
0.
Unbelievable.
One of the greatest pitchers of all time faced Tony Gwynn 107 times. Tony Gwynn never struck out against him once. And we could go all day with Tony Gwynn's statistics and what he did on the field, off the field. That's where he got the nickname Mr. Padre. That's where he was the San Diego State baseball head coach. That's where he became entrenched in this community. Is still the best we've ever had, maybe. And Tony Gwynn, rest in peace, pal. Crazy. 2014, June 16th was the day we lost him. And let's keep that alive for a little bit longer. All right, Sammy, long shots. It's that time, baby. How we feeling about it?
We're feeling good. Again, we won 500 at the craps table, so we're on a little bit of a hot streak.
Confident, secure, demure.
Confident. So, what?
Are you demure today?
I'm demure.
Very demure?
Very demure.
Let's hit the button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
All right, you had a weekend out in Sin City. You've been around money all weekend long. You've been gambling all weekend long. You're feeling good about long shots. By the way, this is a daily fantasy sports segment that we do. You can use whatever app you want. We always suggest Prize Picks because on Prize Picks, you could use promo code Fletch to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. This could be your first $5 entry. So, Sammy, let us have it.
Okay, so I was trying to find the under on. I don't think they're offering it on first inning runs allowed for.
Sometimes it comes later in the day
for Cease and Ohtani. If that comes in, I'm not seeing it right now. I would hit that, but that's maybe they think that. I mean, it's two really good pitchers, Cease and Ohtani. So I would.
Ohtani rusty. Ohtani has a career 9 ERA against the Padres. I don't know.
So okay, I have a 4-pick lineup. 2 are actually Red Demons though. So we're getting a little risky with it.
I love it. It's Monday.
Okay.
We have a bankroll right now.
We got a bankroll right now.
This isn't Thursday.
This isn't. Well, no, if we hit this, we're going to have a lot of bankroll. Okay, I'm going to start with Dodgers Padres. I have a Padre pick and a Dodger pick. Let's start with Padres. Fernando, 2.5 total bases, Red Demon more than. Fernando, I know this could be, people might go sucker bet. He went 4 for 5 yesterday. But the only reason I'm betting is because Fernando is such a streaky player. Fernando, he plays well at Chavez Ravine. We all know this. Once he kind of gets going, he kind of gets on a little bit of a tear. He plays with a lot of. Fernando's a guy that needs to play with confidence. I mean, it's when he's confident at the plate, you feel like every run's going to be a home run ball. When he is not, and he is swinging wildly, it can be ugly to watch. But after yesterday's 4 for 5 performance, I think he's going to get 2.5 total bases more than. Now heading over to Ohtani, Red Demon 2.5 pitches strikeouts more than. I know this could be, again, another sucker bet, but I'm sorry. Ohtani is unbelievable, and every time it feels like there's like a thing in front of him that, oh, can he do it? He does it. And he wouldn't be coming out here if he didn't feel comfortable with this. And the reason I'm doing 2.5 pitch strikeouts Red Demon, I would not be surprised if they're just messing with the Padres Robert, saying he's only going to go 1 or 2 innings. I think there's a shot he could go a little bit longer than this.
Right, but if he only goes 1, he has to strike out the side. This feels risky.
Well, you have a veto, so if you want to take it out, you can. I'm just telling you, I think there's a shot that he pitches longer than 2 innings. And if he does, this is insane value. 2.5 Red Demon pitches. That's my thought. I think, again, there's mind games going back and forth between the Dodgers and Padres.
Dave Roberts is that dude. He would do something like that.
This is mind games we could see. But you have a veto, so if you don't like it, we'll take it out. Those are 2 Red Demons. So Fernando over 2.5 total bases, Red Demon. Ohtani, 2.5 pitch strikeouts more than. Now let's go to the NBA. Tyrese Halliburton, more than 7.5 3-pointers attempted tonight. if we're going off what Vegas thinks, they're thinking that this is going to be a blowout, or at least the spread's 9.5. The Thunder are going to be leading for a large portion of this game. That means that they're going to have to get back into it with the 3 ball. Tyrese Halliburton has been a lot more aggressive the last few games in the series. He really got called out after game 2, having 5 points going into the fourth quarter. Finished with 17. He didn't really play well in the first game either. He only had 14 points, but he hit the game-winning shot, so everyone kind of forgot about it. Halliburton was really good in game 3, pretty effective in game 4, had 22 in game 3, 18 in game 4. So I'm staying away from the over-under because it's right there at 17.5. I feel like Vegas has that pretty locked in. But 7.5 three-pointers attempted, more than, if they're going to pull the upset tonight, Halliburton's got to be hitting the 3 ball. It can't just be kind of a mosh posh off the bench with Neesmith and Mathurin and Nembhard and guys like that.
Mosh posh?
I don't know. I just made it up. So that's what we're doing on Mondays.
A hodgepodge?
A hodgepodge?
I think that's the phrase.
I think that's what I meant to say.
I don't know what mosh posh is.
Whatever. People knew what it meant. It's like a word that people kind of just, they know.
That's like at a Slayer concert. I think there's a mosh posh.
There's a mosh posh. And my last pick, Alex Caruso, more than 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He had 20 points in game 4. So we're staying away from the point total because I think that could be a little bit juice right now. It's currently at 10.5. So I think Vegas wants us to hit the over on that. But Caruso is the guy when I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people think it is. And 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This guy's just everywhere in big moments. He's been here in the finals. He won a title with the Lakers, playing in the NBA Finals. I think he can rebound the ball, especially when games get close. I think this is a really effective number, considering I think the rebound and assist totals are being dumbed down on Prize Picks.
Shohei's too risky, dude.
Okay, we can take it out. We'll take it out.
But I don't want to because it really beefs up the total if you leave it in. I mean, that's 20 to win 650 with that Shohei pick in there.
Yeah, if we hit 2 Red Demon lineup, that's crazy. We can take it out. If it's a sucker, it's probably a sucker bet. There's a weird feeling I got that he's going to go longer than an inning.
I kind of agree with you, but text line, you make your own choice today. I'm taking Shohei out, but I'd feel real silly if Shohei gets it and we took him out.
So now you're just going back and forth.
I might put him back in.
You're putting him back in? It's a total, like,
dude, it's a risky Monday.
I'm going back and forth on this because part of me thinks that Ohtani's an extremely popular player with, in terms of brand and everything. So they know that people are going to bet the over on him. Knowing Dave Roberts, I feel like this is now they're not going to let him. He's not going like 6 innings.
I don't like it. I'm going to be smart. I'm leaving him out.
He threw 44 pitches in a bullpen game last week in San Diego. So 44 pitches would take you what? Maybe
3 innings.
3 innings. 4 would be if he went 4, he'd be mowing down this lineup. So it'd probably be like 4.
I took it out. I don't like it.
All right, we took it out. Let's be safe. If you leave it in and you cash, send it to us because I'm going to be very proud of you.
And I'll be disappointed in myself.
Yeah, and Fletch will be dealing with shame, which is always a good thing to feel on a Monday.
Yeah, it is. I got enough of it going around after some tequila sodas on Saturday. All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. We are going to take a quick break. Hour number 2 is coming up next. We got more U.S. Open to talk. We got more Padres to talk as they set off to maybe the biggest series of the season so far. We've had a lot of those recently. I think so, too. We'll talk about it all coming up in hour number 2. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors. Dodgers, Padres, 4-game set up in LA for the Pods in this series. Dylan Cease will be on the mound tonight, and Shohei Ohtani will be making his pitching debut for the Dodgers. He's expected to only go 1 or 2 innings. The Dodgers are currently minus 155 on the money line, and San Diego is plus 130. That game starts at 7:10. And Kevin Durant's preferred trade destinations per Shams Charania are the Heat, Spurs, or Rockets. Those are the only places he will sign a long-term extension. It came down today. He does not want to go to the Minnesota Timberwolves and pair with Anthony Edwards. Pella Windows and Doors is offering 25% off to celebrate 100 years in business. As the leader in window innovation, Pella is rated #1 Consumer Reports. Don't wait. Visit Pella.com to schedule your free consultation today. That's PELA.com.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The streak gets snapped in the desert for the Padres.
Fly ball center field. Lockridge will have room, and the Padres win.
Now it's up to the Ravine for 4 versus the Dodgers. Drama at the U.S. Open.
At Oakmont. JJ Spawn, ball up and over the ridge. It's on a very good line. This could go in. JJ Spawn makes it.
And how did Sammy do out in Sin City with his $1,000 worth of shirts for the
The
club?
Rock could go in the back, take off his electrifying $800 shirt.
A full recap in the Fletch Zone.
All right, it's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We're with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. I promise the next words out of my mouth are not meant to be humorous. This is just because it is happening right now. All right, we all good with that? This is not satire. This is just what's happening in the world about the most talked about sports media conversation of 2024. So I'm just going to lay it out there.
I think I know where you're going.
Today, ironically, somehow, definitely not planned, Shohei Ohtani is making his first start in a Dodgers uniform on the pitching mound. Why is that ironic and kind of funny at the same time, but also kind of crazy and not at all planned? Ippei Mitsuhara, who was the interpreter for Shohei Ohtani, who got in all the trouble for the gambling scandal that rocked the world in March of 2024, today is the day he reports to prison. So he is actually, as of 20 minutes ago, reported to prison today on the same day that Shohei Ohtani is making his first start.
That's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were talking about Jordan Hudson.
No, but is there news on Jordan Hudson? Because that's far more entertaining.
I caught the end of it on Colin today. He was going on a rant about people need to stay out of their business, but
I was being dead serious when I said not funny. I'm just saying the news is reporting, so I'm reporting the news that Ippei Mitsuhara today is his first day in federal prison, as today is also the first day that Shohei Ohtani is on the mound.
Give us a description, Fletch, of what his first day is going to be like.
I will not do that.
No, I think our listeners want to know. They want to know.
I mean, I've watched Prison Break. I know a little bit about life on the inside.
Could you make it out? How do you think you? How do you think you do?
I would do awful. I would never commit a crime.
Would you join a gang immediately, or would you try to be by yourself? That's not going to last very long.
I would hope that I could get a Better Call Saul type lawyer to come figure out a way to keep me out.
Yeah, but you might not be alive until he gets out.
You're right, man. It'd be a tricky situation. Have you ever watched the show, the like reality show where they take people and they rig the prison system to get them in, and they have to act like they were actually being put in for something? I can't remember, locked up something.
Oh,
can't remember the name of the show. It's fantastic.
Locked and Afraid?
Maybe. But I don't know. They like tell wardens, and wardens are in on this because they want to like heighten awareness about the state of their prisons. And so they'll get somebody like me to say, hey, yeah, I volunteer to go to prison for 10 months. You can film me the whole time and we'll see what happens. Half the time they end up committing crimes while they're there.
70470, start your message with team. 70470, start your message with team. Who would last longer in prison? Fletch or Sammy?
Not me.
Give us your thoughts.
I do think the answer is Sammy.
Well, now you're ruining the game.
I think I'd cry immediately.
Yeah,
and
okay, well, then I definitely win.
I mean, I don't know. Sammy knows.
You need to watch out for yourself. I've seen you eat though. You could. You know what I mean?
What does eating have to do?
No,
with
because
anything?
you can't. People will take their time. Like in prison, you got to scarf that thing down. You don't have time to just be sitting there and lollygag and do whatever you want.
Well, anyways, the news is that Ippei Mitsuhara is living that reality right now. And that's not funny at all. I swear, this news comes down the same day Shohei Ohtani is making his first start for the Dodgers. Ippei Mitsuhara begins.
Are you
his
saying
sentence.
there's like like a collusion or
There's
something?
something going on, man. This is just either more proof for the simulation theory, or it's like, these apps sometimes will, like, I don't know the names of the companies, but they will have, like, ESPN. We'll see, okay, Odell Beckham Jr. is trending this morning. We're going to put up a bunch of Odell Beckham Jr. stats. But sometimes the reason Odell Beckham Jr. is trending is not a reason you want associated with your page. And so just because somebody's trending doesn't necessarily mean that you want to go out there and put stuff out about him. And right now, Shohei Ohtani trending, Ipe Mitsuhara going to prison, kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, Padres still got to face him, so they got to figure out how to get through him and get to this bullpen early.
What happened with Jordan Hudson? Now I'm curious.
I don't know. I thought that's where you were going.
No, we'll do some research on that and bring that to you coming up later on in hour number 2. Along with Billy Currington tickets, he's going to be out at Gallagher Square, part of a huge summer deal through Live Nation. You can take advantage of their cheap tickets here coming up. 1,000+ shows on sale now at livenation.com/ticket to summer. It's Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer. And you can see Billy Currington July 19th at Gallagher Square at Petco Park. All right. Before we get in any sort of trouble or anything, Sammy, I think it's time to hit the button for the big 3 of hour number 2. It's San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big 3.
If you'd like to watch the show, how many people we got in here right now? 443. That's a good number. I'm happy with that. Thank you all for being here. You can stream it on X at Fletch and Sammy, on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. The YouTube link stays live from noon to 6 every single day. John and Jim take over right after we do. Sammy, where we start with hour number 2?
Start with those pods. So how important, what is an acceptable record over the next week? For the, what? You know what? Let's rephrase the question.
For the next 4 games?
Yeah. Hold on. Let's rephrase that question. Now, with Devers going to the Giants, Ohtani coming back to the Dodgers, Diamondbacks in a little bit of a streak, what move has to happen? Are they basically punting on the season if they don't make a move?
Whoa.
That's the question. If they don't do anything at the deadline, if they don't get a left fielder, they don't get another starting pitcher, they don't get someone in the bullpen, do you think this team has enough talent to go far in October?
Truthfully, I do not. Far in October and making the postseason are 2 different questions. They are 39-31 at this point. You are what is that? 70, almost 70 games exactly into the season so far. You do not punt with a 39-31 record. No, you're more than a third of the way through. This is time to add to this team. That's the hope, certainly. Now, the market, the way it is, it sounds like there's not enough teams who are going to be sellers, and there's too many teams that are going to be buyers. Well, that means AJ needs to get a little aggressive, and maybe you do have to give up something you don't want to give up, but that's kind of the cost of doing business these days. I do think that this team has something special to it. I do think that this team can make a run in October. We've seen it. They had the Dodgers on the ropes. If they win that series a season ago, who knows what happens for the Padres? I think it ends in a World Series. I really do. It didn't happen last year. It could still happen this year. You got to go for it. You got to do what it takes right now.
Well, yeah, that's why it's disappointing is you see the rest of the division getting better. And as of right now, again, this could all change. They go make a move. You have to get a left fielder. I'm sorry.
They might make a move tonight, Sammy.
Right.
We don't know. Until the middle of July when the trade deadline is, we don't know.
We keep going back to this. Thank God for AJ Preller, because if he didn't sign Gavin Sheets or Nick Pivetta, this team would be awful. I mean, they would be terrible. And they would 100% be 4th in the NL West. They need to get better. You can't have, to make a run, you can't have a glaring need like left field. I mean, that has to get resolved. The pitching staff is going to get better with you're assuming Yu Darvish coming back. There's reports from Kevin Acee today that they think he's going to come back within the next month. Now,
did you see his quote? Yu Darvish's quote?
Yeah, his elbow. He said, "I'll ask my elbow then," or something.
Yeah, I think Kevin asked the question. He said, "Could it be that it's going to be July 13th, which is the day before the All-Star break?" And Yu Darvish said, "I don't know. I'll have to ask my elbow."
I'm not saying anything, but there's some interesting quotes from Darvish. It's very standoffish.
I'll have to ask my elbow is bizarre. That's a bizarre thing to say.
It's people are just genuinely curious because you're getting paid a ton of money to come pitch for this team. You haven't pitched yet, but obviously your elbow, you can't control that. But I mean, you're going to get help there. The bullpen at its best is good enough, but I think what we've been seeing recently is the depth isn't there. And over a long season, 162 game season, you're going to lose depth. You're not going to have your 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, if it's Game 7 of the World Series and it's Morahone and Estrada and then Adam and Suarez, and they're all healthy, I'd feel pretty good about that. The problem is over the season, are they going to be healthy? And when you're playing late into October, you can't just rely on 4 guys. I think they got to get better there. Left field has to be addressed. That's a non-starter.
It doesn't even have to be a good defensive left fielder. Just get someone in who can hit.
Well, that's the thing. It's even if let's say the other way, they weren't hitting, but they were solid positionally out there. You have to get something because you can't have a liability at the hitting end out there and on defense. Okay, let's head to the NFL. Big news over the weekend. Trey Hendrickson and Bengals resume trade talks. Number 1 pass rusher in terms of sack leader last year. If him and Stewart are there, Shamar Stewart, who's also holding out, rookie at Texas A&M pass rusher, where do they rank in the AFC? Are they a top 3 team?
Defensively, I still think they rank last. As a full team, not top 3 because that is going to be the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs for the foreseeable future. I would have them in the mix with the Chargers. Yeah, they're with the Chargers just after that top 3. Top 4.
What about Houston?
Excuse me. Houston's in there as well. I have Houston a step lower because I don't trust CJ Stroud as much as I trust Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it feels.
I also don't trust D'Amico Ryans as much as I trust Jim Harbaugh.
You trust Zach Taylor?
I don't really trust Zach Taylor either. They I think are in the same boat as last year. Is people were kept talking about if they get in, they could be a problem, and that's true because with the offense is stacked. The offense can score 45 points, and it's not. I mean, it's not crazy to think that. The defense is awful though. I mean, if Hendrickson's there and Stewart's there, at least you have a pass rush. The secondary is still a massive concern, and we've seen teams win the Super Bowl without having some elite corners. But when they went to the Super Bowl and they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead on the big comeback there, they had really good safeties. I mean, they had Bell and Bates, and they kind of covered up for the fact that they didn't have great corners. Now they both walked. Bates and Bell aren't there anymore, and the corners really got exposed last year. Is that they never really had good corners. Eli Apple would run his mouth, but he was awful, and you saw that when he went to Miami. So I just feel like the Bengals are an organization that doesn't know what they're doing, and you got to keep Joe Burrow happy. So they did. I don't understand paying Higgins as well. I feel like with the amount of good receivers that come out of the draft, you could have got something for that. You could have traded him last year and got a lot of draft picks, try to boost through this defense. I mean, look what the Chiefs did. They traded Tyreek Hill. They go win 2 Super Bowls. It doesn't feel like that's a winning formula. I do think the Bengals are a fun thought experiment for this season because they can either prove it right or prove it wrong. Theory that they appear to be working on is if you have a great defensive front, can you have a crappy back end and still get away with it? And obviously last year it didn't work for them. They did have a great defensive front. Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks, but they didn't have anybody on the back end to cover up. And so teams realized, we just throw over them and we'll beat them. And that's what happened all year last year.
I just don't think you can beat Baltimore in a division when your defense is that bad. I don't think that's realistic. And then let's go back to baseball. So Ohtani's pitching tonight. Would you let him hit? Like, there's a lot of conversation around since Ohtani's been such a good hitter. And given the contract the Dodgers gave him, would you even let him pitch?
Yes, because you did not pay him north of $700 million to just be a hitter. You paid for the complete package. You paid for 2 players when you paid Shohei Ohtani. And you have to see what you have on the pitching side. And guess what? If the pitching side doesn't work out, it's not like the hitting's going to go away. So do you want to have a $700 million DH for the rest of his career? Well, you got him, but you need to see what he can do on the mound too. Because when he was with the Angels, the dude was a front runner for Cy Young. Like, he is that good at pitching as well. It's almost unfair how good he is at both of those things. So the question is, would you even let him start the rehab process to begin pitching again? Or is the question whether or not you would have him pitching in games or hitting in games where he's also pitching?
Both. I'm just asking the question because there's been thoughts of, should he come out of the bullpen and not try to burn his arm?
And that's still a thought for this postseason, right?
It's a thought. Vassay poured cold water on it, which I thought was a pretty good argument. Is, let's say Shohei's due up to bat for the Dodgers, and you're going to bring him out to close the game. He can't. How can he get warm? I mean, how's he? And if he's pitching, it'd almost be better for him to be pitching once a week versus I'm pitching every night repeatedly, worrying about his elbow.
And he is a starter.
He's a star, and he's. Some people thought that he was a better pitcher than hitter. That was a real thought. Now he's had 2 major surgeries. So a third one would certainly I don't know if he could pitch again. And then you kind of start to wonder if you're the Dodgers, does it affect his hitting? Because if you lose, it's kind of like Travis Hunter. If you lose your star hitter and a pitcher, that's the Dodgers aren't exactly the same team. It's a weird question because to that point, he's such a good pitcher. You can't not pitch him. You didn't give him $700 million to just be a DH, but the fact the Dodgers did win the World Series last year, like I wonder if the Dodgers rotation wasn't this banged up, if they would have delayed this.
It might not have been as much of a rush, but you have to see what you have. Look, aces are hard to come by in Major League Baseball. There's not enough of them for every team to have one. The Dodgers seem to have a couple every single year, but that's because they can spend money like no one else can. So you have an ace in Shohei Ohtani, who would be an ace on pretty much every single team in Major League Baseball. You got to see what you have in him because that's who he's been. He might not be that guy anymore after all the surgeries, but you paid for the pitcher and the hitter. You need to see what you have.
Hypothetical, if it was Game 7 of the World Series and he could only pitch or hit, what would you do?
Do the Dodgers have Snell or Glasnow ready to go in that Game 7? Because then he's hitting no matter what. If he's the only pitcher left, I think you have to pitch him.
Yeah, but even if they are, I mean, they're not Shohei Ohtani pitching. Like it's a weird thought for the Dodgers because it's like you're
it's almost like there's a reason why nobody in baseball has ever done this before.
I mean you're sitting on a lottery ticket,
except for Babe Ruth.
It feels like the old quote. I would pitch him. I think you have to, but there is a thought to what is it? Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. I mean there's something to that, and he's raking right now. But I don't know.
619, note to self, if I ever find myself in prison, eat quickly, scarf your food down, is life coach level advice from Sammy. And I thank you for it from SoCal Jayhawk.
SoCal Jayhawk, yes.
760, hey guys, David Peralta is just sitting at home, I believe. Why do you think the Pods haven't brought him back?
That's an interesting question.
It's a valid question.
I mean, David Peralta, because we can get to this on the other side if we want, but kind of in the same ilk of a Jason Hayward. That's what the Padres kind of hit on David Peralta last year. And we're kind of getting the remaining stuff at the remaining years of his career out of him, and then you kind of try to do the same thing with an aging veteran Jason Hayward because he was a little bit younger, and Hayward has clearly not been an answer. He is non-existent. He can't hit the ball anymore.
All right, but what are you getting from Peralta at this point? It felt like you got everything left.
What are you getting from the bottom of the Padres batting?
Nothing. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. A couple more thoughts on JJ Spawn's win at Oakmont from yesterday. We'll keep on this Padres thread. If you got text about the Padres, load them up. 70470. Start your message with team. It is us and the text line the rest of the way. Billy Currington tickets coming up on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. I got 5 words for you here. Mountain, trust, mortgage, and realty. That is 5 words. I did the math correctly. And you should do the math too. Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. Gary Cooper is a buddy of mine. He is the real estate agent, the mortgage broker who is helping my wife and I through the home buying process. And he is that guy, man. He can do everything for you. You just have to make the call, whether you're looking to sell your house, buy a new home, buy an investment property, or refinance your loan, Gary Cooper is the man for you. Take advantage of the latest cutting edge loan products. Call Gary today at 858-376-1299. He prides himself on cutting out and eliminating the smoke and the mirrors and the shell games when it comes to mortgages. If you go visit him in Rancho Bernardo, if you give him a phone call, he's going to give you what he calls his degree in loanology. He's going to explain to you why different companies will give you different answers concerning interest rates and closing costs, and how no points, no cost loans really work. Call Gary today at 858-376-1299. If you were like me and my wife, and you were going through the process of talking to realtors and talking to mortgage companies, and you always just felt a little lost afterwards, you felt like they were talking you in a circle, Gary Cooper can complete that circle. We left a 2-hour meeting with him. We felt like we knew everything we needed to know. We are geared up and ready to go, waiting for that opportunity for us, which is going to strike this summer. I know it is. So call Gary today, 858-376-1299. Find out how Gary Cooper and the team over at Mountain Trust Mortgage can eliminate the smoke and the mirrors for you and give you straight answers, no BS answers on what you need to do to get your mortgage locked in at the lowest rate possible, and what you need to know to get into the biggest investment of your life, which is your home. Call Gary Cooper today. Why would you trust someone from out of state when you got Gary, who San Diego has been his backyard his entire life? Call Gary Cooper or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. Again, the phone number 858-376-1299. Call Gary Cooper today. Tell him Fletch sent you. Wednesday, 6 o'clock, right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's SDFC Midweek Live, here from the head coach, Mikey Vadas, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information. SDFC Midweek Live every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. If you missed it over the weekend, big win for the boys on the road. And our boy, Anders Dreyer, knocking one in from center field, I believe is what they call it in soccer. He was really, really far away from the goal, and he hit it over the goalkeeper.
I saw that. That was fantastic.
Into the back of the net. Badass moment for Anders Dreyer, who is, in fact, on fire. And SDFC continues to march up the ranks of the Western Conference in the MLS.
America won 5-0 over Trinidad and Tobago yesterday.
Look at that. USA. 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 Please do something right, Team USA. We got the World Cup coming to town the next time it comes around. And if Team USA isn't, they're going to be involved because they're the host country. But if they get embarrassed right away, it's a bad look for us.
We're playing Saudi Arabia on Thursday. We need a W.
Are we going to live bet that? That sounds fun.
Oh, we're definitely. I think it starts during our show, too. Definitely going to. I should have put some money on it.
What day is that?
Thursday.
We'll lock in. We'll have a watch party.
Yeah, we'll have a little everyone wear your America gear.
Sounds great. I got an American onesie.
You do?
Yeah, they're overalls.
Wow. It gets you a Coors Light. There's nothing more patriotic than that.
What do you think I'm doing on my Tahoe trip? That's it. I'm going to be wake surfing.
Like a bald eagle on one arm?
I should. That'd be nice. I do have a bald eagle beer bong. Break that one.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Bar Cart Friday staple.
That's fantastic.
Rest in peace, Bar Car Friday. Maybe we'll do another one soon.
Yeah, maybe we'll surprise. It was fun having the boys in here on Friday and Cat.
That was cool. By the way, some news that we can pass along here. So I'm off from, I believe, July 25th or June 25th through maybe July 3rd, somewhere in there.
Yeah, because we're off on just the 4th.
But we just got the list of names of people who are going to be filling in.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty fun, man. So Big Rich and TD are both going to fill in for a show. J Riff is going to fill in for a show. I believe Coach Quintera is going to fill in for a couple of shows. Big Marsh on the mic is going to be around
with Frankie
V. I forgot about Frankie V.
Alan Slee was going to be joining the show.
This is an all-star lineup, man. I might not have a job by the time I get back.
No. Everyone's going to be we're going to hold it down while you're gone.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad that all those guys are going to get some time because this is fun, man. This is what you want to do when you grow up. You want to play in the sandbox a little bit. And I want to talk about the U.S. Open because I'll be honest, that was one of my favorite sports watching experiences of the year so far. Over the weekend, watching kind of a list of no names charge their way to the final at the U.S. Open. But what I liked about it was the human aspect of what went down yesterday. It wasn't the fact that JJ Spawn kind of just went on this tear on the back nine. It wasn't any of that. No, it was Rory McIlroy smashing the tee marker after one of his tee shots because this course was just pounding you the entire time you were playing it. It was Wyndham Clark smashing the crap out of his locker after his round, which is not cool to do when you're on a guest on someone's property, but it's funny. Wyndham Clark, if you see the pictures of his locker after his round on Saturday, I believe, I literally kicked it in. Looked like a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum. It's the fact that Tyrell Hatton, who's still in contention, is smashing the ground after a shot on the 17th hole. It's the Sam Burns who came into yesterday with the lead heading into the final 18 holes. He was at -4 to start the round. And he on 16, he's still very, very much in contention. May have even still had the lead at that point. Is complaining because there's water on the ground where his ball is. And so he has 2 separate rules officials come over to check the ball and to see whether or not he can take the unplayable free drop. And they say, no, dude, you got to hit it. From that point on, he completely falls apart. And then you have JJ Spawn, who was just Mr. Cool. Facial expression never changed once. It was JJ Spawn who really struggled on the front nine, who had everything going against him. And then they get this hour-and-a-half break, and JJ Spawn comes out for the back nine, and he fires low, man. He wins the tournament based on an absolute perfect drive on 17, a drivable par 4 where he got it up there, 2 putts for birdie, and then on 18. We haven't had too many walk-off moments with a 64-foot putt in golf history, and we got one yesterday. Needed 2, sinks it in 1, has this awesome moment. Tears start falling immediately. He talks about it in the post-game presser where he says, look, there was a point last year where I thought I was done. Golf wasn't going well. I was dealing with some health stuff. I thought my golf career was over. And then to come back less than a year later and to win the U.S. Open, one of the most prestigious, one of the most difficult golf tournaments in the history of golf, to win it at 1 under par where the rest of the field isn't even sniffing even numbers. It was a cool freaking day yesterday on the golf course.
Yeah, and it's so cool with golf, and we kind of saw this in, watching tennis, the French Open the week before. It's such mental games. It's anything that's combat sports, golf. I mean, it's especially golf. I mean, you could be leading it after 2 days, and you come out and you shank a hole, and all of a sudden you're dropping back. It was kind of cool seeing the adversity, the conditions kind of played into that, and you saw some meltdowns from the golfers. I mean, imagine trying to win or not a Masters, but a major, and you're literally dealing with, I mean, the 18th green when they show those images of just water rushing off it. I mean, it was pretty special. It was cool seeing Spawn win it. San Diego State alum, so shout out to him. And I love watching golf, man. I think too much is over. We talked about this earlier. Too much is made about you need to have Scheffler and Rory and DeChambeau and guys we know. It's cool. And it was cool in the Masters. We got that DeChambeau and Rory were in the final pairing, and you had so many guys. Scotty went on the run. It's cool that we get new names in golf, and that's how you build stars with this. Spawn's a really likable guy, San Diego guy, so pulling for him, and it was super cool seeing that.
Yeah, the only bummer about JJ Spawn winning it was when he was signing his final scorecard, you could see his, they call it their, what do they call it? Their, I don't remember. It's basically the notebook that they all carry around in their back pocket, and it was a Dodgers notebook.
Oh.
So JJ is a fan of the The boys up north, which is the only bummer. But
he's an Aztec, so
he's an Aztec for life. We're happy with that. JD Wicker put out a really nice tweet yesterday talking about JJ Spawn and Xander Schauffele and how well they've represented the university, but he is a Dodgers fan, so take that for what you will. And I actually did take a picture of the TV screen and was about to put it out on Twitter.
Unbelievable, Fletcher. And show the man some respect.
And then I thought, this is a very Jim Russell thing to do, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Jim wasn't watching golf.
I bet you he was. Jim likes the majors. Jim's a good golfer too.
Oh, really?
Jim's a much better golfer than I am.
Oh,
maybe not much.
I get mopped. I'm more about drinking and trying to hit one shot that I can record later in the day.
It's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, Ohtani pitching today. Whew. Let's get into it. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sports sponsored by Dairy Queen. Padres Dodgers tonight, 7:10 from up in LA at the Ravine. Dodgers currently minus 155 on the money line, with the Padres being plus 130. Dylan Cease, who had an excellent performance last Tuesday in San Diego against the Dodgers, will be on the mound for them. And Shohei Ohtani will be making his debut, expected to go only 1 or 2 innings. And then the NBA Finals tonight, 5:30, Game 5 in Oklahoma City. Pacers Thunder. Oklahoma City's favored by 9.5, with the point total set at 224.5 to win the rest of the series. The Thunder is minus 525 to win the whole thing, with Indiana being plus 385. Hurry into DQ for their sauce and toss chicken strip baskets with flavor from the top, bottom, and everywhere in between. Try them today in Honey Barbecue or New Buffalo, only at DQ. Happy, taste good, only at participating Dairy Queen locations.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Billy Currington tickets coming up in 7 minutes, so stay tuned here. If you want to go see Billy Currington out at Gallagher Square coming up on July 19th, part of Live Nation's Summer Ticket Series. All right, Padres, couple of notes here before we get into the conversation about tonight's game. Jackson Merrill is going to the IL. He's on the IL now, the 7-day concussion list. And Mike Schultz says it's going to be a day-to-day thing. I think the best thing is that he was able to keep some food down and he had some appetite. So that was encouraging. But other than that, he wasn't himself still. He's going to get back to San Diego, rest, and hopefully recover quickly. Sammy, you ever had a concussion?
I have, playing football in the backyard.
They're the worst. I don't know.
I blacked out during mine.
So I did too. I had one in high school playing basketball that wasn't very bad. And then right after my freshman year of college, I lived in Tahoe for a summer and was working like a busser at a restaurant in Tahoe. And it ended up with the sweetest deal of my life. My buddy, who I made friends with there, his dad had a boat. We were out on the boat every morning wakeboarding. The wind caught the board when I went for a jump. And so my face essentially just smacked down right on the lake. And we were going, what, you go like 20 miles an hour when you're wakeboarding? So my face just went straight into the lake. I don't remember anything that happened over the next 20 minutes, but I did get back into the boat.
You got a concussion off the board or the lake?
The lake.
Because you're going so fast.
Because you're going fast. It essentially turns into a tabletop if you hit it. But I remember nothing of the next 20 minutes. And the next 2 days, I felt awful, sick, horrible. Sounds like that's kind of what Jackson Merrill's dealing with right now. It was a gnarly hit to the face right on his nose. Hopefully Jackson's going to be okay. But what's the biggest bummer about this isn't that Jackson Merrill's dealing with a concussion. It's that he was starting to look like Jackson Merrill again. He was starting to hit a little bit better, and it looked like he was getting back into the rhythm of things. At the same time, Tatis was starting to get back into the rhythm of things. And then to have this, just a real up and down sophomore season for Jackson Merrill that I wouldn't even feel comfortable calling a sophomore slump. I would feel comfortable calling it sophomore interruptions over and over again. He starts off red hot, gets hurt, is out for like a month, comes back, and it's a little bit shoddy to start, but then he gets going again, hurt. It's a bummer for Jackson, who just wants to be out there to compete, especially with a series like the Dodgers coming up.
Well, yeah, and to that end of him all season, you kind of expected, Corbin Carroll last year really started out struggling after having an amazing rookie year. Kind of figured Jackson Merrill would do the same thing, but he didn't. He hit the ground running. Even after he got his new contract, was fantastic. The injury to what you just said, you came back, was a little shaky, but they're going to need him. I mean, the bottom of this lineup has to produce this series is big starting tonight because you have a 4-game stretch. All the games are at 7:10, which I'm excited about. They're all at 9. No midday games where the bullpen might be a little bit taxed for both teams. Excited that they're all kind of here. They have to get production on the lineup. Eric sent us a tweet on Twitter. Padres only get back on track with help from Xander, Cronenworth, and starters going deeper. Takes pressure off Tatis, Manny Jackson, the bullpen. Well, yeah, great text. If Jackson's not there, we know Machado's going to produce. We know Tatis is going to produce and arise. Other guys have to step up. If the Padres win this series, we're going to be talking about a Cronenworth or a Diaz or I don't know, Tyler White. Someone has to be play like an MVP because the Dodgers lineup is so good throughout. You can't afford to only be getting production from the top to top of the lineup. That's not going to win you games up in LA. Maybe it gets you one because they have an unreal game like Fernando yesterday, but certainly a rough time for him to be hurt. But Padres got to deal with it.
All right, and then Yu Darvish, who has not pitched yet for the Padres this year. It looks like he's getting closer. He has some quotes in the UT and Kevin Acey's most recent article where he talks about potentially a month from now coming back. And Kevin asked him, could it be July 13th, the Padres' final game before the All-Star break? And Yu Darvish responded by saying, I don't know. I need to ask my elbow. I don't love that quote, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's interesting coming off AC on our show a couple weeks ago, who kind of insinuated without saying it that
it's up to you.
Yeah, that the Padres are like, you can pitch. It's just a little discomfort. You're not really going to get re-injured. And he's like, no. And that would be great if it was early in the season when the Padres were really money and the bullpen's being taxed now. That's the problem, is the bullpen's being taxed. So the next couple of days, like Cease has to go a ways, and he was great last week. But I mean, looking at the pitchers here, you can't have one of the first 2 games where you set the tone and you go to extras and you lose and you burn through your whole pen. That's kind of why the Dodgers got a little bit of a success last week. People criticized it, but Tuesday, they basically threw the game. And whatever you think about that, if you think it's lame that they threw Kike out there or you don't, it did help them win on which is fine, but it helped them win on Wednesday. So they either got to go ways or they got to win these tight games, because if you blow a tight game like you did last Monday, that really sets a bad precedent for the series.
So as of right now for you, Darvish, he expects the next step to be another simulated game, and then another rehab start could follow that. What's a little concerning about you, Darvish, is his last simulated game, which was 18 pitches on Saturday against minor league hitters. He got up to 94 miles an hour. Well, he was hitting 97 a few weeks before that when he did a rehab start. Darvish not happy about it, but it was good enough, are the quotes that we have from him. So hopefully Darvish does come back and can pitch like you, Darvish, especially the second half of this season, because you think about what we've been discussing about the trade deadline. Well, what do you need? You need an all-star left fielder, not even all-star, a serviceable left fielder with a bat that can hit you 275 with some pop.
Someone who doesn't run the wrong way when Pages hits a potential 2-run single.
That'd be helpful too. And you might need a starting pitcher. Well, you could be getting a starting pitcher back in you, Darvish, which is as good as trading for one. And if you, Darvish, can be you, Darvish, that's even better. So Padres will begin this 4-game series against the Dodgers tonight. And I don't know how to feel about this one. We're talking about acceptable records, and I do feel like you need to win 2.
You have to win. If you win 1 game, or God forbid you get swept, I mean that's like ring the alarms type stuff, because it's not like this gets any easier for the Padres. Get the Royals in town, or they're I believe are they they're in KC, right? I'll look that up. But I mean that's not like that's a bad ball club either. Then you got Washington coming up, then you got Washington coming up, who's got all the Padres prospects. So this is with the division being so tight. Padres 3 games back right now. Giants are only 2 games back now, but they got Devers. They're going to have a lot of juice to their lineup. The Diamondbacks are on their tail right now. Obviously, just one series. They're losing the series to the Diamondbacks, so they would have the tiebreaker there. It's nice that the Padres are currently 4-2 against the Giants on the season. It sucks that they kind of blew those 2 games. Looking back at last week, Pivetta was the only pitcher who pitched bad. I mean, Vasquez was fantastic, and we all know that Cease was great. So you have Cease tonight, you have Vasquez tomorrow, and then Wednesday's probably, if you're going to look at a scheduled loss, Kolick versus Yamamoto. That would be a pretty big win if the Padres were able to get that, because Yamamoto is the best pitcher for the Dodgers. And then Berger against Kershaw, which is kind of a crapshoot.
Let's go Berger. That's my boy.
But you got to go, and the Dodgers have a name to starter for tomorrow. So it all kind of depends. They're throwing Ohtani today, who's only going to go an inning or 2. You're expecting a bullpen game. Maybe they bring Wroblewski in and try to give you some length, or Kasperius, but the bats can't be cold. You have to set the tone in LA early in this series.
All right, 858 text in saying the Jackson Merrill concussion is another reason why players should slide feet first.
Yeah,
I like the head first slide. I think it's cool, but it does leave you up for some danger. 619, I would give up my left pinky toe to see Tatis take Ohtani yard on the first pitch tonight from Marcos MPB. That would be cool. Welcome to the Dodgers, pitcher Ohtani.
Well, this is to that end, like, a bunch of people will be watching this game tonight. Not just Dodgers and Padre fans. People across MLB are going to be watching this game. It feels like the Padres were kind of the sexy storyline the first month, and people were kind of falling all over the fact that could they beat them after taking them 5 games last year and stuff. Feels like, especially after yesterday, everyone's on the Giants, rightfully so. They've been playing good ball recently, and you just add Devers. The Diamondbacks quietly been really good recently. Padres, like, this is a potential statement game in the middle of June. Like, because I don't want to hear about how it's early anymore. Like this, like, yes, it's early in terms of it's not October yet, but this is not a time to mess around and be losing a series. You lost to the Dodgers division series. You lost the Diamondbacks division series. You lose again in the Dodgers division series. I mean, you're losing tiebreakers left and right here.
It is crazy, man. All right, Padres, Dodgers tonight. If you want to go see Billy Currington out at Gallagher Square at Petco Park, you can win those tickets right now to celebrate Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer. Saturday, July 19th, Gallagher Square at Petco Park. Make it a summer of live music with $30 concert tickets to 1,000+ shows on sale now at livenation.com/ticket to summer. We're going to take caller number 6. Caller number 6 at 877-767-4760. You are going to see Billy Currington down at Petco Park. Enjoy those tickets and visit livenation.com/ticket to summer if you want more information on about 1,000 different shows that are all around $30. Coming up next, we will close this thing out. I got a question because I'm going to a wedding this weekend that's going to be hot and toasty, and I want maybe some advice from Sammy from the text line. Sammy's got some thoughts on travel.
I do have some thoughts, particularly Southwest Airlines.
I think I see steam coming out of his ears. We'll talk about it all coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. For a final time here on San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for just a few more minutes here. Congratulations to, remind me our winner, Sammy.
Shalise going to the show.
What up? You're going to Billy Currington. We'll have some more tickets for you tomorrow as well. So keep on listening here on 760. All right, couple things here before we get out. Sammy, you got issues with Southwest? You're just naming names all over the place?
I do. I have a massive issue with Southwest Airlines.
What you got? Was that who you flew with to Vegas?
I did. Yeah. So because I'm poor, I fly Southwest a lot.
Southwest is not the cheap option. Spirit is the cheap option.
Well, yeah,
Frontier
but
is the cheap option.
Spirit, you know what you're getting. Like you know it's gonna be a crapshoot, but that's why it's $10.
I like flying Spirit.
Southwest, I got a problem. So they didn't do this whole. They were supposed to do it at the beginning of the year, assigned seating. At least they're not doing it in San Diego or Vegas.
Southwest is luxury, man. I love Southwest.
No, Southwest is terrible. They so anyway, they go boarding group A. That's great. It's the cattle call. You line up 1 through 60. Then they get to certain groups of people, and obviously people with disabilities love it. They need to get on the plane first. Military, they have certainly earned it. Get on the plane first. Then we got a problem. Then they go all families. Let's board right now before B group. All of a sudden, 60 people with about 30 different strollers, kids screaming everywhere, get up, are running on the plane. So I'm group B. I'm not even that far back. And again, I went to bed at 5 a.m., nursing 2 hours of sleep, been drinking a little bit, and I'm just ready to get on the plane, and we're ready to be home. And I'm B, and I'm sitting in the back of the plane. The last row in the plane, me and my friend are sitting in. And I see some of these kids are like 14. And I'm like, listen, it's great. If you want to have family, that's fantastic. I'm happy for you. But it's not my problem that you had 15 kids, both of you. Okay? So why does me, who paid the same price as you, need to get on the plane last when everyone in B and C are just the same paying people?
Got the solution for you, Sammy. You need to find a baby mama.
Yes.
You need to have a kid.
No.
Once you have a kid, you're ready to go.
I just,
doesn't even have to be your kid. Maybe you swoop in 7 months into the pregnancy and say, "Hi, I'm Sammy Long. Nice to meet you. Does this kid need a daddy?"
I text line. I'm sure I'm gonna get some hate for this. 70470. Start messing with team. I don't. Again, of course, people with disabilities, military, get on the plane first. You should. But I'm sorry.
But the poor struggling mother who has to deal with rugrats on the plane. Again, screw you, ma'am.
No, not just.
My name is Sammy.
The parent, the dads are there too. It's there. Everyone's like, oh, like you paid to travel.
As someone who's had to fly with my niece and nephew before, you deserve bonus points if you're getting on a plane with a child. It is the worst experience of my life.
Yeah, because you can drive. I mean, it's not that far of a drive from San Diego to Vegas. I'm just saying.
All right. It sounds like you're complaining about something you probably don't need to complain about. You got home safe. The plane didn't fall out of the sky. Think about that.
We also got delayed 45 minutes on the tarmac because apparently the grounds crew was working in San Diego.
I actually don't mind Vegas delays if you're in Vegas and you get delayed, because then you get some extra time to,
No, we were on the plane. If we were at the slots, I'd have been like, who cares? We're literally sitting there and they're not have the AC. It's a typical excursion with Southwest.
All right. So Sammy is complaining about flying, but I got not a complaint, more of a question. We all are very open and honest with each other. I'm a sweater. We all get that. I get pitted out pretty easily. That's why I mostly wear black shirts. This weekend, I'm going to a wedding in El Cajon. Can't wait for it. It's going to be fun. I'm very, very happy for the bride and groom. I've gotten to know them a lot over the past few years. Cannot wait for this wedding. However, it is an outdoor wedding in El Cajon in June. El Cajon gets hot. It's going to be at least 85.
Who picked El Cajon and the outdoor wedding? Is this where they're from?
That's where her mom lives. And it is a beautiful house. It's going to be an incredible wedding. It's going to be amazing. But when you are constituted like one Benjamin Fletcher is, you worry about more things than just how fun the wedding is going to be or the temperature. I worry about dress clothes, and this body don't work because of the sweat.
Okay.
Does anyone have any life hacks? Because my wife wants me to wear baby blue pants because she's wearing a baby blue dress. Baby blue pants will not work. And I've told her this multiple times, and she's convinced that it'll just be fine.
By the way, we're going to read this in a second. I'm getting so much agreement on the text line that I love our listeners. These are my people. Like we're going to read those in a second. But for you, I think the travel size deodorant would be an option for the pocket. It's not sticking out. You ever got to go to the bathroom, hit a quick little deodorant.
I don't even know that helps the situation. I really don't. No, but once you are putting deodorant on top of sweat that's already there, it doesn't really do anything.
Here's the thing. Everyone's going to be sweaty.
Not like me, dude.
First off, you got to call Sleewa because Sleewa, that's his haunt. He's from El Cajon. That's his area.
I might be from El Cajon soon. We might be buying a house out there.
What time is the wedding?
It's afternoon. I believe it gets started around 3:30.
Wait, okay, hold on. What kind of planning? Listen, Fletch can't say this. And
No, they want it outside. They want it to be sunshiny.
I know, but don't you think you would start it at? Is the reception outside?
The whole thing's outside. Everything is going to be outside. They have a beautiful backyard.
Do you have to go to the reception somewhere else?
No, it's at their house also.
Oh, okay.
This whole thing is done in one location.
Because there's probably only one bathroom too. That's
I do think they're bringing in some of those portable bathrooms, which are really nice. They have air conditioning.
You know the little body spray?
Uh-huh.
Hit you with a quick one of those halfway through. Get a little deodorant. Make sure you're wearing a hat. It's acceptable to wear a hat at the wedding because it is outside.
I don't think so.
Not one of your hats where it's like, oh, Coors 2015.
Oh, you mean like a douchey little, what are those called? Fedora?
No, not a fedora.
I'm not wearing a fedora.
By the way,
bro.
that would be tight if you wore a fedora.
All right. The texts coming in that are agreeing with Sammy Long, 858, totally agree. They need kidless flights to major cities.
100% agree.
Much like an all-inclusive resort, some of them are kidless.
The vacation starts when you get to the airport.
Bingo. 619, these dang families be breathing up all our air from SoCal Jayhawk. Solid text, SoCal. All right, here you go. Better solution for you, Sammy. Start flying private.
I don't have. I tell you, I'm poor.
Start doing a little better.
I'm not sitting here saying I'm not. Trust me. If we get a big time contract one day, you will see me flying. Like, see, some people we went with, some more money to their family. So they were staying at the W. They were flying a United American.
Like $600 a night at the W. Dude.
I was not at the. I was at Harrah's.
Jeez. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. That's about it for me and Sammy today. John and Jim are coming up next. They will have all sorts of info for you on Dodgers Padres round 2 of the season, a 4-game series that gets underway tonight. Shohei Ohtani on the mound for the Dodgers. Should be a fun one up in LA tonight. I can't wait for this series. This is a good little measuring test for these Padres to see where they're at. It is San Diego Sports 760. More Billy Currington tickets coming up tomorrow on this show and more answers potentially to what to do with the sweaty problem. All that coming up. It's John and Jim next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.